So how is your experience living here in Germany?
I did my master's way back in 2007. Started as a student, worked here after completing my student for close to 15 years.
Oh. And how is the job market?
If you're planning to come to masters to Germany, if you can at least work for a year in India and then come here, I think you'll be like a hot cake. You'll be taken like a hot cake.
How is Germany for staying here for a long time? So hi guys, welcome back to my channel Mumbaikar in Germany, and I make videos on studies, work and life in Germany, basically everything about Germany. So till now, if you have not subscribed to my channel guys, do subscribe it. And today I have a really special person with me. He's super experienced, he has done his masters here in Germany. We are going to have a lot in this video. So let me introduce first Mr. Sagar. So hi, welcome.
Hello Shraddha.
So can you please give... Yeah, thank you. So can you please give your introduction?
Sure. My name is Sagar, Sagar Misala. I come basically from Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh in India. And I did my master's way back in 2007. And I also came to here in Germany in 2007. So I've been here, I started as a student, worked here after completing my student. For close to 15 years. So I came to Germany in 2007. I've been here in Germany.
It's a long time.
Yeah, so close to 17 years. 17
years, wow. Since you have came here in 2007, so would you like to tell us like how was the finding the university that time? Like since now you know in social media there are a lot of scope for the students to know to find university. In which university you studied and what research you did? Can you please tell us?
Sure. So I did my master's in mechanical in Duisburg Essen University.
Okay.
And at that time, as you rightly said, we didn't had the WhatsApp worlds, the Instagram worlds. So there was nothing of that sort. The only thing that we were relying is the DAAD website, which had a lot of information. But apart from that, in my case at least, when I was doing my bachelor's, one of my professors has actually did his master's and also studied here. And worked here for a few years, and then he came back to India and started taking his job as a professor. And he was actually one of the biggest influences for me at least.
My next question would be, what was your course actually in your universities and what bachelor's you did back there in India?
I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and the course which I have taken here in Germany is also master's in mechanical engineering with specialization in mechatronics. Yeah, one important advice which I would give to the people back in India is, if you're planning to come to masters to Germany, to do your masters in Germany, I would suggest working for a year or a two at least to start with in India, because that really gives you an advantage over the other people. And I've seen many people who have worked for a year or two and then came here to do their masters, and right after the masters they got into job pretty easily. So it's like within 3 to 6 months after completing the masters. And what I've also noticed is, for many of the people that I know of who have worked for a year or two, not more than a year is a minimum, they have also pretty easily got internships. And they've also got thesis in companies. And these two combined, doing an internship and thesis in a company, adds a lot of value to your CV, and then very easily gets you into a job. And if you're lucky, the place where you have done your internship and thesis, they could also even extend the contract and give you a final job as well. So I would suggest, first thing, at least work for a year or two in India, and then come here. And the second thing is, while you're working, see if you can at least do a basic German course. Nowadays, you can actually get a German course everywhere, in almost every big city in India. And I would say A2 is minimum, A1, A2 is minimum. And if you can afford to do B1 from a time aspect, not from financial aspect, but from time aspect, I think it would be real good. It just increases your chances of getting a job much more faster when compared to the other people.
So my next question is like, what was the process of getting the job? How many months you did internship, or how many months? How was it? Can you
Yeah,
please
in my case, after completing all my subjects, I got into an internship which lasted for 4 months.
Okay.
And after my internship, I got into the same company and I did my master's thesis, which lasted for 6 months. And within 3 months of completion of my master's thesis, I was able to get a job in a different company. And then I've been working for close to 15 years ever since in that company.
That was my next question. Like, how many years of experience you have in Germany? So the total years of experience you're working since 15 years. Okay, so how is the work culture, the German work culture? Any kind of challenges you faced like working here?
Well, I'll narrate a small incident. I was actually going to India last year to meet on a business trip to meet my team members, and the younger team members who have just got into the job. They asked me one question: how are you able to maintain that physique? Here we struggle to kind of have a good work-life balance. So is your work-life balance so good? It was their first question actually, seeing me without knowing anything about Germany, without knowing anything about me. So I think that's one of the biggest advantages we would have in Germany, where the work-life balance is actually so good that you start punctually at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then you are able to complete your work by 5 o'clock. And after that, the entire evening is for you, for your family, for you personally. So I think the biggest advantage from the work culture is the work-life balance is actually pretty good. In terms of challenges, I would say, at least back then, the issue that I had was, I did not took a formal German language course, so it wasn't so easy integrating here into Germany. But as long as you are able to at least do the A2 B1 course, as I was suggesting earlier, I think you won't face any real major challenges, I would say. The people here are very cordial, they welcome you very warmly. There are no egos, nothing of that sort. The work culture is pretty good. People are very nice, and you have got all sorts of positions you would like to take on going forward in your career. So I think as long as you can have a good German language course behind you, I think the challenges are pretty minimal.
Yes. And being Indian, as an Indian, was it difficult? Do they accept Asians easily here in Germany? How is it?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the narratives that we have heard back then as well, 15 years, 17 years back, that where Germany is not good at encouraging foreigners. But having here for more than 15 years, I have never ever faced any kind of such type of issues, to be quite honest. And I've known many people. I've got a very big circle here. And if we were to ask any one of them, I don't think anyone would actually say that they have either faced or heard of those issues. So I think it's pretty good in terms of how Germans actually accept the foreigners.
Do you prefer, what do you would suggest, any kind of Ausbildung, any kind of courses in your field especially, and how is the job market for your field?
Yeah, as I already mentioned for your previous question, it's always good to at least work for a year or two before coming to do my masters. And as far as the courses are concerned, as I said, I did my masters in mechanical. There are some specific courses like the CAD courses like Pro-E, Unigraphics, and also there are some CAE courses like ANSYS, and Astron. I think if you can at least take coaching for like 3 to 4 months on those courses, I think you will also get a lot of weightage on your resume, which would help tremendously in getting a job pretty easily.
Okay, and what is the scope for your field, especially here for the job market? How is the job market right now in mechanical engineering?
The job market for mechanical, as I said, is pretty good. It's good for experienced people. Doesn't mean that it's not easy to get a job while you're a fresher, and that's the reason why I keep saying if you can at least work for a year in India and then come here, I think you will be like a hot cake. You'll be taken like a hot cake, at least in mechanical. And we keep recruiting people almost on a yearly basis. So one thing is, to summarize, 1 or 2 years of experience,
Right.
and then the house building courses like ProE, ANSYS, Nastran. German is always an added advantage. It just makes things easier for you to get into a job much more easier. And then the final thing is see if we can tweak a resume in such a way that it matches the requirements of the job.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we spoke right now regarding the job, regarding work culture. So as we know right now the situation in Germany regarding inflation, energy prices are on hike. We all know that. So what would be your, like, how is the inflation affected in terms of jobs?
Well, if you were to see the inflation over the last 20 years, 30 years, the general number that we see is like anywhere in between 1 to 2%.
Right.
That is actually something that we see on a yearly basis. But I think this year is actually an exception because of so many other factors, like the Ukraine war is one of them. But that's just one of the reasons. But which has resulted in a pretty high inflation. So I don't think it's actually a good thing to consider this year as a basis to say that the inflation is pretty high. I think we should always consider 1 to 2% as a minimum number. But I guess that's something which is there everywhere.
Yeah. But no, is that affected in terms of salary? Like, are people getting salary hike or anything? How it is?
I mean, as far as the salary hikes are concerned, in general, there is always 2 to 10% of hike, depending on which field you're working in Germany. Yes, okay. 2 to 10%. Depending on which field you're working, depending on your performance, obviously, depending on your company. So I think your salary hikes will most likely beat the inflation as long as you're working in a good company, as well as working you're doing some good work. That shouldn't be a problem.
The big question actually usually for all the people who are coming here, how is Germany for staying here for a long time?
Well, it depends on the people, right? As I said, there are pros and cons everywhere on this earth. In Germany, the good thing is you will have a good work-life balance, that's for sure. You will have a very good job protection in the form of workers' council. Every company, if they have got more than like 200 people or so, they will have a workers' council, and the workers' council will give a lot of protection to the employees. So it's not so easy to just lay you off like how it's happening in the rest of the world. There are lots of rules and regulations for someone to lay you off, right? So there is a very good job protection, and the work-life balance is good. The weather is kind of 50-50. So I would say it varies from people to people, and it depends on the priorities, right? So if you want to be close to your parents, obviously there is no place except India. But if you want to lead a good life with good work-life balance, good job protection, no pollution, education for the kids is free. So there are advantages and disadvantages everywhere. So I think it's up to the individual to choose what are the pros and what are the cons and decide accordingly.
Yeah. So how is it the family life here for the kids and for your wife? How was it easy to settle? How was it?
I'm staying in Hamburg, as you all know. So if it's a big city, there are big communities. As I said, I come from Visakhapatnam, so there is a big Telugu community here, which celebrate festivals like how we do back in India. So I think as long as you are staying in a big city, it's good. But once you are in a very remote city or a small city, I think it doesn't become so easy. Right? So it depends on which city you're staying as well.
And was it easy to get along with the German education system?
Yeah, for the kids, it wasn't difficult at all. My kids are actually born and brought up here, so for them it's easy. But I know also several families who actually came midway through, and they were also easily able to accustom to the German culture, as well as learn the German. Kids are very fast at picking up the language, no doubt about it, and then get into the good schools. That's never a problem. I mean, personally, you know, when I got married, my wife is also back from India. She was always insisting for us to go back to India, and I was insisting to stay here. And now, after several years, she wants to stay here. She doesn't want to go back to India. So you know, things have changed. So I think it depends on people. It varies from people to people.
Actually, thank you so much. So thank you so much. इसी के साथ guys, I'm going to end this video. Thank you so much once again for your valuable suggestion, and I know many of them have got so many information video. Pass it to everybody who really wants to work, study in Germany. Thank you so much once again.
And thank you as well. I appreciate you doing all this for the community, right? Because back then it wasn't easy getting all this information, and nowadays having people like you is actually a blessing in disguise, because many people back in India can easily know what to do, what not to do, so that you know they can come here and settle much more easily than like how we did back then.
But this is really a big thing because of you guys. When you share the experience on our channel, it also helps, right?
Sure.
So, and guys, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and share it with the person who need it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.